The 1930s encompassed a decade of important social and cultural change throughout America. Important movement that would lay a minimal, although still very much needed, portion of the nation's struggling civil rights movement was then underway. Americans of every hue and background were being counted, heard, and felt in their efforts to ensure a better quality of life for all people. People desirous and sincere in their efforts to improve their lot. A large part of that struggle lay with respect to affording those unfairly denied access to America's social, cultural, and recreational opportunities a never-before-open door. No less prominent were the stirrings than in Asbury Park. The Asbury Park of the 1930s was then world famous. It was a hubbub of frenetic activity, reflecting the importance it had as the Jersey Shore's premier resort community. However, the Asbury Park of the 1930s, and in fact the Jersey Shore of that era, blatantly reflected the ugliness of America's racism. In part, the systematic and nearly complete exclusion of many Americans from the social, cultural, and recreational opportunities of the nation. Many residents of the Jersey Shore, both in and around the greater Asbury Park community, were being denied access to institutions and facilities providing other residents and shore visitors with recreational, social, and cultural enjoyment and opportunity. African Americans were outright excluded from enjoying the luxury of bathing in and sunning on most of the shore's waters and beaches. Asbury's Mayor Hetrick would defiantly deny colored children access to the boardwalk's then famous rides and amusements. Even the school system would remain segregated within school buildings until approximately 1950, with white children being classed and educated on one side of, for example, the large Bangs Avenue Grammar School, and black children who lived immediately next door to those same children in Asbury's mixed residential neighborhoods of black, white, Jewish, Catholic, and Italian people relegated to the other inferior side. Other institutions, even the then YMCA, denied disadvantaged residents access and the needed benefits of its varied programs. Obviously, the most adverse impact was on the children who were denied those opportunities. In 1934, a determined group of area residents embarked upon the task of improving upon the social and economic conditions of the shore's black citizenry. What was born was the progenitor of the present-day West Side Community Center. Its birth in 1942 was a direct result of the efforts made by those residents of varied races and creeds who joined together to create the Asbury Park Urban League, which was later succeeded in 1938 by the Urban League of Monmouth County. Because existing recreational facilities were closed to African Americans throughout the shore area, the League's activity directly led to the establishment of recreational facilities and meeting places for African Americans, including the establishment of the West Side Community Center. For more than 50 years, beginning in 1942, the West Side Community Center has endeavored to provide quality recreational, social, and cultural opportunities for at first African Americans and later, and even now, for people from many diverse backgrounds. Its programs have also involved providing economic opportunities for participants through job training and employability skills programs. Most importantly, though, have been the varied opportunities afforded children. For over 50 years, the hubbub of activity that has resulted for many in their only meaningful experiences in the context of character building, citizenship, and human growth has been from the privileges and benefits bestowed through the efforts of the West Side Community Center and its legions of employees, supporters, benefactors, and volunteers. Truly, their selfless efforts have been noble and of real benefit to the communities they serviced and improved. From drum and bugle corps to marching drill teams, from Boys and Girl Scout troops to dance and Bible classes, from after-school recreation and tutorial programs to needed daycare, from computer literacy programs for single mothers to teen dances and talent shows, the West Side Community Center has been there, offering the communities its services, its resources given to it by both the business and non-business worlds, the secular and non-secular worlds, by committed individuals and civic-minded organizations, offering those resources to those most in need in the communities it has aided and continues to serve. The West Side tradition continues today, with the offering of not only enrichment opportunities, such as its after-school latchkey program for kids ages 6 to 14, but also in providing enrichment opportunity by keeping its doors open to both individual and corporate adventurism for those committed enough to create and start new activities and programs. However, the dreams of men and women, such as F. Leon Harris and his wife Pearl Harris, of Jim Dolan and Jim Hunt, of Danny Harris and Tom Smith, of the men and women of the Center's One Strong men's and women's clubs, of Dr. Parks, who donated the present main site and administration building to the Westside Community Center, of those persons in county government, the business community, and within long-term funding agencies, such as the United Way, the Black United Fund, the Borden Foundation, Monmouth Park Charities, and of a host of others too numerous to reference in a brief moment, will not continue without new, needed, and increased commitment and support from both within and outside of the communities that the Center services. If, as Muhammad Ali said, service to mankind is the price we pay for being part of the human race, then the Center's collection plate will once again become abundantly plentiful, and its efforts preserved for years to come through an increased awareness and appreciation of the simple fact that we can all help in some important and meaningful way. If the Center is to continue its laudable efforts for another 50 years, much greater support must be afforded from people who care and who are sincere in helping others, from the corporate world to government planners to the types of individuals who made the first 50 years possible.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate. They used to laugh at me, their children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed just for being born. I was just a boy, punished for a crime that was not mine. Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. Oh baby, life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. No one tried to understand. I did the best a man could do. A child's reality is paid for by his folks' fancy fairy tale, all bought and sold by those who can well afford. Time to make believe, childhood dreams can still come true. So I've been wondering, traveling all around, guess it ain't my style to live in just one time. Still I'll never know why a child is blamed.